All right, good morning, ladies. Welcome to episode 2 of Tell Me How You Feel. Now, a lot of you are still mad, just like you were last week, and you said, Uncle Lou, you got to do the show again. I have a lot of anger issues that I need to get out, so I'm doing it again. So there's the first caller. Let's see how this goes today. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel.
I'll tell you how I feel, Lou. I think you're a jerk.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, you're going around talking trash about a team that beat you.
Who's that?
This is Thomas Vols.
What's up, Thomas Vols? Tell me how you really feel, buddy. This is your chance. Let the world know.
Well, Lou, I think that you're being a jerk because, I mean, you're talking shit about a team that beat you.
Yeah, two out of the last 7 years. Yes.
And then you're talking crap about Bookie Jones. I mean, what's Bookie Jones' record against Georgia?
2-2.
I think he has one loss.
He's 2-2, sir. He's 2-2. You don't even know how long your own coach. You don't even know how long your own coach has been at Tennessee.
Whatever, Lou. Listen, and now what's Kirby Smart's record against Tennessee?
0-1.
Exactly. Butch Jones, and I guarantee you, in basketball we're going to beat you, and in football we're going to beat you.
Well, you're not beating us in football, sir. You lost everybody on your team that was any good is gone, sir. Your quarterback Dobbs is changing oil on the space shuttle. Hurd's gone, Kamara's gone, Derek Barnett gone, Cameron Sutton gone.
DeJuan Jennings.
The man had one lucky catch.
DeJuan Jennings.
Who's going to throw him the ball? You don't even know who your quarterback's going to be next year.
Wow, Lou. You're acting like a 2-year-old.
Come on, you got to do better.
Blue.
Why is Tennessee here? Let's do it this way. I told you typing is a lot easier than calling in because you can think for an hour and a half before you type something. When you call in, it's got to be quick and on the go. Tell me why you think Tennessee can beat Georgia next year. Tell me that right now.
Our receiver, our coach. Listen, you have the dumbest coach in history of college football. You need to tell him he ain't Mama no more. He's a terrible coach for letting us win this year.
Listen, sir. Listen to me. Butch Jones is the worst in-game coach in the SEC. The guy's been at Tennessee for 4 years and still doesn't know what he's doing. And on top of that, he was a head coach for a decade. But he was a head coach for a decade before he ever got to Tennessee. That was Kirby Smart's first year. Did Kirby Smart make some mistakes year one as a head coach? Yes. Butch Jones has been coaching since the cows came home, and the guy can't get out of his own way. He's a $4 million a year chart reader, sir. He's a joke and a disgrace. What is Butch Jones' win percentage in his 4 years at Tennessee? Tell me that. What is his winning percentage in 4 years at Tennessee?
I do not have an answer. I don't.
50%, 50, 52%, 50 or 52% in the SEC.
What's Kirby Dunn's winning percentage?
Kirby won 8 games this year. It took Butch Jones 4 years to win 8 games. Butch Jones, how many games did Butch Jones win? How many games did Butch Jones win his first year in the SEC?
5.
And how many did Kirby Smart win?
I think you know how many your own coach won.
Is 8 more than 5? I know that's a tough one. Yes. 8 is more than 5. Listen to me. Listen. Tennessee scored more points last year than they've ever scored in history. And what do? They get rid of their offensive coordinator. They also gave up the most points they've ever given up in history, and they're keeping their defensive coordinator. Butch Jones is a moron, sir. He's an idiot. I hope you guys give him a lifetime extension.
I agree. I agree with you that was a terrible decision. That was all on Butch Jones, but he's only human. He makes mistakes.
Well, anyway, it's good of you to call in. You did pretty good. I give you a hard time, but I do give you credit for calling in. A lot of the typer trolls just want to type. But you did call in, sir, so I give you credit for that. I'll go ahead and wish you good luck for next year, except for when you play UGA.
Okay, well, we're going to beat you.
Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You have another 8 months to be off-season champions before we have to start talking about that. Have a great day. All right, well, Tennessee caller right off the bat. That's really no surprise there to me. They came in, I believe they came in second this year in terms of which fan base was most pissed off at Uncle Lou. So no surprise to me that it was Tennessee caller. But we got another lucky contestant on the line here. So let's give this guy an opportunity. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel. You got the hush mouth? You got to talk when you call in, buddy. See, this is what happens when people type in the comment section their whole life. And then they think they're going to do something. So they get up the nerve to dial the number. They get up the number, the nerve to hit send. I answer. I put them live on the air with Uncle Lou to give them their moment of glory. And they get a severe case of the hush mouth. So whoever that last person was called in didn't have the balls to even say anything. I gave the guy 10 seconds. I mean, how much time do I need to give you, sir? When someone says go, that's when you go. So let's see if this person is smarter than the last caller. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel.
Hey, Uncle Lou. I'm just a Georgia student, and I'm kind of ticked off right now.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
Well, basically, there's this dude who lives right next to me. He's a Florida Gators fan and a Georgia Bulldog fan, and he goes to Georgia, so I don't know how that works. First of all.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You know what they say about a team that has two quarterbacks, has no quarterbacks? If you're rooting for two teams, you're not a fan of either one, especially when both those teams are in the SEC East, and you're talking about bitter rivals here, Georgia and Florida. I'd have to question this guy's fanhood on both fronts. I don't think he's a real fan of either team.
I don't think so, because when we cheer for Georgia, he always goes, "Oh well, Florida, we won this game." But then when Florida, completely shits the bed, they say, "Well, I'm a Georgia fan, so you can't say that." And he's kind of stupid, but
Yeah, it sounds like he's trying to have it both ways. Now, there's a kid on YouTube, CJ Dawson is his name. Anyway, he grew up a Florida State fan. Somewhere along the line, he started liking Georgia for some reason. He's from Florida. But anyway, it ends up he's going to college at Georgia. So he has completely dismissed Florida State and is 100% Georgia now. Now that I can live with and understand, but simultaneously rooting for Florida and Georgia is inexcusable in my humble opinion.
Right, and it's one way, but that's not even why he pissed me off.
All right, what did he do?
So, I know you already talked about this, how Sony Michel and Nick Chubb are coming back next year, and a lot of people are mad because we're not giving the recruits time that they want. So we talked about this, and he basically made the same argument, and he said, "Well, Brian Harrion and Elijah Holyfield aren't gonna like that either." And I really just don't understand it, Lou.
I don't get it either. I mean, look at it this way. I like steak, okay? If someone says, here's a piece of steak, you can eat this piece of steak right now. Or later, you can have a different piece of meat. Now, that different piece of meat might turn out to be a steak. It might even turn out to be a better steak, but it might turn out to be hamburger helper. I'll take the steak that's sitting right in front of me. I mean, Nick Chubb and Sony Michel are 5-star recruits that have excelled at UGA. They're both going to be playing in the NFL. I mean, I never like to lose a good recruit, but I'll take two proven future NFL seniors over any recruit any day of the week. I hate that we lost Toneel Carter, but it is what it is. I'd rather have two proven guys. I'm with you 100% on that one.
Right, and then with Brian Harrion on that front, he's not even right about that because he looks content and he's taking pictures with them like everything's all good. He hasn't complained once about about sharing time with those two, and then he's just talking about he's not going to not sharing time. I feel like he's actually benefiting watching two elite college running backs and learning from them rather than just being thrown in against SEC defense.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, just be realistic. I mean, if there's one position where you can be fifth on the depth chart and still play every single game, it's running back. I mean, we're going to rotate running backs in and out. Now, are all 5 or 6 running backs going to play every single game? Probably not. But if DeAndre Swift comes in and he's the third best running back, he's going to get a lot of playing time. If Brian Harrion is the third best running back, he's going to get a lot of playing time. If Elijah Holyfield's ankle can get healed up and it turns out he's the third best running back, he's going to get a lot of playing time. But I think all 5 of them are going to play.
Totally. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that one. Well, you say you're a student up there?
Yep.
All right. Well, if you see any of the guys roaming around, tell them Uncle Lou said good morning, and we can't wait for the spring game.
Yeah, we'll do. A bunch of us, we love watching your channel. You had us dying with the Hatchimals video and basically everything from there on. So,
all right.
Keep
Well,
doing what you're doing, sir. We really appreciate you over here.
Yeah, stay in touch, and we'll get together at the spring game.
All right. Sounds amazing.
All right, buddy. Bye. All right. Well, that person was mad, but not at Uncle Lou, which is fine. I'm just here to lend an ear. Whatever's bothering you, just let Uncle Lou know. All right, another caller. Hello and good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel. All right, this is the part where you have to talk. Going once. Going twice. Gone. Another case of the hush mouth. I don't know what's going on with these people. They like I said, they get up the nerve to call in, and they just can't make their mouth work. I don't know what it is. It's like some sort of weird Bell's palsy or something like that. I don't know. Let's try this one. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel.
I feel pissed the fuck off.
Is that right? Tell me all about it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an Alabama fan.
I'm sorry.
I am an Alabama. Yeah. I don't appreciate what you said about Georgia not being scared of us.
Well, Georgia's not scared of you, sir.
We would beat y'all like a fucking drum.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And what is Georgia's record against Alabama in the last 6 games?
Not that good.
3-3.
Yeah.
With a win over Nick Saban.
Who do y'all have that's good anymore?
We're loaded, sir.
With who?
What do you want, names? I mean, you want me to Google the roster? Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, Jacob Eason. I could go on and on. What do you want?
Ain't no good.
Listen to me. Jacob Eason ain't no good. Please tell me you're starting Jalen Hurts again next year. Please tell me that.
Yeah, we are.
That's great news for the SEC, sir. The guy's terrible. The guy's deer in headlights. Did you watch? I'm assuming since you're an Alabama fan, you watched the playoff game, the national title game. Am I correct in assuming that, sir?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is terrible, sir.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's terrible. He can run around. The only reason he was any good this year is because he could run around. The guy can't throw the ball. The guy cannot throw the ball. Open your eyes, buddy. The guy's terrible. Now, even the Gumps have to realize that this guy cannot throw the ball. He can't even throw the ball as good as Blake Sims, who was a running back. I mean, y'all are going to be loaded again next year. I mean, who's going to say you're not? You've had #1 recruiting class for 9 years in a row. You're going to be loaded, but Georgia's not scared of you. Will Georgia beat you next year if we play you in the SEC title game? Well, I don't know. It's way too early to say. But the point of your call to call up and say you're mad because I said UGA is not scared of you, UGA is not scared of you. You're just going to have to go to sleep mad again.
Okay.
Anything else you need to get off your chest today?
No.
All right. Well, kiss your sister and tell her good morning. All right. That was a Gump there. Had to go ahead and call in. Said he was very angry at the beginning, although when he was talking, he didn't seem all that too angry to me. But what am I supposed to do? You want me to say UJ is afraid of Alabama? No. Like I'm going to say that. Let's try this one on for size. Good morning. This is Uncle Lou here. Tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel.
I feel fine.
Okay, good. What can we do for you today?
What you think about the Georgia game against Tennessee? How do you feel about that?
Last year's game? Last year's game or this year's game? Coming up.
This year's game.
Oh, I think we're going to beat you this year. Yeah, for sure. There's not a doubt in my mind. You guys lost every good player you had. You don't know who your quarterback is. Whoever it is not going to be any good. You lost Derek Barnett, Cameron Sutton. You lost everybody good you had on both sides of the ball. Hurd quit. Kamara's gone. You don't know who's throwing the ball to your one good receiver. My opinion, Tennessee is going 6-6 next year, but I do think you'll make a bowl game.
How do you feel about Nick Chubb?
I love Nick Chubb.
And do you know that I went to school with him?
What, high school?
Middle school.
Yeah?
Yeah, I went to middle school with him, then we moved.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I heard he's a good guy. I've never met him.
I've been growing up a Georgia fan since I was a little baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like everything about Georgia.
Well, that's good. I mean, you're in Knoxville though, so I feel a little bad for you.
Well, I'm in Ooltewah, but I've been a Georgia fan for a long time. I can't put up with Tennessee. I can't put up with no Alabama fans or nothing.
Those are two of the worst, sir. No doubt about it. Unfortunately, even though Alabama lost the national title game, I don't think their fans are going away. Now, a good bit of them went away because they were bandwagon fans that don't even know what position Forrest Gump played. But as far as totally, no, they're not going away. Tennessee fans aren't going to go away, unfortunately, either because they beat UGA last year. That's not going to happen this year, though. Anyone that wants to can write that down. They lost every good player they had, and they still have Butch Jones. So they're going to be terrible this year.
How do you feel about our next year? I mean, this year's whatever it is, the games for Georgia.
I think the schedule sets up pretty good. We trade North Carolina for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's an easier game than North Carolina was last year. Notre Dame won 3 games last year, and the best player they had was their quarterback, and he's leaving for the NFL. We trade Ole Miss for Mississippi State. Mississippi State is not as good as Ole Miss, and we play them at home instead of on the road. So I think the schedule sets up good. We do have to go to Tennessee. That'll probably be one of the toughest games, even though I do see us winning that game. Then, of course, the Florida game. That's a crapshoot. It's hard to count Florida as a win right now because no matter how good we are or how bad Florida is, they seem to find a way to beat UGA. But I do think Florida is going to take a step back this year. They're losing a lot of Muschamps players. Jim McElwain can't recruit, and apparently he can't find a quarterback. So I like our chances this year. If I had to pick a record right now, I would say 9-3 or 10-2, and most likely winning the East.
It sounds pretty good. Hey, what's your favorite type of snack to eat during the Georgia game?
Boiled peanuts or chicken wings. How about you?
I like to eat pretty much anything. How do you feel about the Falcons? You think they'll make it to the Super Bowl?
I do. I'm not a huge NFL fan. Nothing like I am with the Georgia Bulldogs, but I did grow up a Falcons fan because I've lived here my whole life. And from what I have seen over the last month or so, the Falcons look to me to be the best team in the NFL. It wouldn't surprise me one bit for them to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. About the Falcons, I really think they're going to make it with Julio Jones and all them, but we got to see about his foot injury, though.
Yeah, I read a report that said he'll be okay. My biggest concern is that we get into a close game in the fourth quarter and Matt Ryan makes one of those boneheaded red zone interceptions that he tends to do from time to time. I mean, he's been playing lights out the last 5 or 6 weeks, so hopefully that won't happen. But that would be my concern, that in some sort of a close game, Matt Ryan just made some sort of boneheaded interception in the red zone or something.
Yeah, do you think Mark Rich should still be the head coach of Georgia, or you think Kirby Smart is better?
No, I was ready to get rid of Mark Richt after the Alabama game 2 seasons ago. I had seen enough from him. I mean, I think he was a decent coach, but I think he had too many opportunities to do more than he did. I don't expect a national title every year, but UGA had at least 3 teams under Mark Richt that were at least good enough to compete for a national title, and we competed for 0. Had he competed for at least one national title with one of those 3 teams, he'd probably still be the coach at UGA, but it was just time for a change.
Well, what I think is that he shouldn't be the coach, because I heard a lot of people saying that he would tell the other team the plays. He would not cover up his mouth and just tell all know what he's going to run and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he was too nice of a guy. I mean, we don't need a $4 million a year youth pastor. We need a football coach. No more hugs for drop passes. No more hugs if you can't catch a punt. You're going to be doing up and downs and running the bleachers at practice. The guy, he's a nice guy, but was time for him to go. I'm 100% on board with Kirby Smart.
All right, well, I appreciate you talking to me.
Yes, sir.
I gotta go to the store.
All right, have fun at the store. Go Dogs. Yep, Georgia fans stuck up around Knoxville there. I do feel sorry for that kid, for that guy. All right, another lucky caller here. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel. Good morning.
How do you feel about the Georgia games?
Which ones? All of them?
When you lost to Tennessee.
Oh, that was terrible. That was brutal. It was heartbreaking. I mean, that's the worst possible way to lose a game.
Yeah, because Georgia sucks, don't they?
Yeah, Georgia sucks. We had one of our worst teams with a first-year quarterback, a first-year head coach, and we lost to Tennessee's best team since 1998 by a freak last-second Hail Mary. Anything else? I guess that was all he wanted to say. Yeah, I mean, it's not breaking news. Tennessee beat UJ last season on a last-second Hail Mary. Not sure what point that guy was trying to prove. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel.
Yeah, is this the Paul Feinbaum show? I want to talk to Booker.
Yeah, this is it. Go ahead. You're on.
Uncle Lou, I got a big problem today, and I want to tell you how I feel about it.
You called the right number.
I had to look at Eat That Pussy 445's nasty ass last night, and my eyeballs ain't been right since. Tell me, have you had the privilege of seeing that video?
No, I haven't. I did see where you uploaded something about it, but I have not seen EDP's latest masterpiece.
Well, you know, I think me and you agree that EDP is probably the best video maker of all time. And he puts quality entertainment out there for all of us to see. But I would advise against watching his latest video unless you've got a puke bucket beside you. But that's a story for another day. I think what you're wanting to talk about is SEC football, perhaps, and maybe more specifically Tennessee and Georgia. Correct?
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, this is BVD, Big Vol Daddy. He has a YouTube channel too. Most of you, if you're watching this, you probably already watch him. But if you don't, you can look him up on YouTube, BVD, Big Vol Daddy. He's a Voltard video maker. But yeah, let's talk some football.
Thanks for the plug. Thanks for the plug there, Uncle Lou. I appreciate it very much. I need your support. My ratings have fallen the last year or so.
Sort of like just like Tennessee's expectations.
Do what now? I couldn't hardly understand you.
You said your ratings have fallen. I said, yeah, just like Tennessee's expectations for next year.
Oh, no, our expectations for next year are just as high as they've ever been.
Well, for Voltard fan, yeah.
I'm not a supporter of Butch Jones, so I know exactly where we're going to land next year.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the Voltard's expectations are 15-0 because it's the off season. That's what they do. But as far as the sports reporters and analysts and all that picking you guys to win the East and challenge Alabama, that's out the window for this year. I think you would agree.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you this year. But now, Uncle Lou, you know that we got our off-season championships from Georgia. You guys used to be the best at the off-season championships until we stole that title from you, along with, of course, life champions.
Don't forget your
only hope to be life champions.
That's true, and I don't want you to sell yourself short. Let's not forget that Tennessee is also the NASCAR NCAA champions.
The what champions?
The NASCAR NCAA champions.
Oh, absolutely, and people fail to realize the importance of that title. And, you know, you did, since we're talking about championships, you did leave out Knox County championships. So, you know, I don't like to be slighted when we're talking about championship. On a serious note, I want to talk just for a second, and I don't want to hog up all of the other people's time here today. I want to talk seriously about this love that you have for the SEC. I personally don't understand and have never understood SECism. I get the principle of it. You know, we're all good old boys. We're brothers, blah, 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 blah. As long as we're not fighting each other, we'll fight anybody. But, man, I tell you what, dude, I cannot pull for Alabama in a bowl game, or Florida in a bowl game, or Georgia in a bowl game. And can you honestly tell me that you were rooting for Tennessee to beat Nebraska? Be honest.
Now, everybody knows that I will argue about just about anything, especially when somebody disagrees with me. But I have said this numerous times. I completely understand a fan of an SEC team who takes the opposite opinion of me on this issue. Yes, I did want Tennessee to beat Nebraska. Yes, I wanted Alabama to beat Clemson. Yes, I wanted South Carolina to beat South Florida. Yes, I wanted Florida to beat Iowa. But I usually don't get as defensive and argumentative with people about that issue as I do with most other issues, because I completely understand people like you or who are on the other side of the fence. I mean, you have recruiting issues to consider, and plus just the hate that you naturally have for some of the other SEC teams. But that's not enough to change my mind. I still pull for the SEC every time they play a non-SEC team. The only time it's ever been different was if I needed another SEC team to lose for a BCS reason, or in today's world, a playoff seeding reason or something like that. But when it has no effect directly on UGA's current season, I always pull for the SEC.
Yeah, I guess I understand where you're coming from. I've just, you know, like you said, I've always kind of been on the opposite of that. And I won't argue, you know, that the people that like to root for the SEC, I guess I just don't really understand it because of the great rivalry we have. And I know the great rivalries are part of the reason why a lot of people do root for other SEC teams to win when they're playing non-conference games. So I get it. To me, it boils down to having to root for my rivals, and I can't do it. I mean, there's certain teams that I would root for Georgia if they were playing against, like Notre Dame, Ohio State, Southern Cal. Some of those teams I would root for Georgia just because I can't stand those teams. But anyway, I'll let you go. I appreciate talking to you. It's always good to talk to my boy Uncle Lou, and we'll let some of these other kids call in and enjoy the day. Have a great morning, Uncle Lou.
You too, BVD. Thanks for calling. All right, yep, that was BVD. Now, like I said, y'all go sub him up if you're not subbed up to him already on YouTube. He's a Tennessee video maker, BVD, Big Ball Daddy. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Go ahead and tell me how you feel.
I feel pretty good.
Well, that's good.
I'm a huge Georgia fan. I'm a student up here at GMI right now, so I pretty much live in Virginia. But I was going to call and ask if you watched the Super Bowl with the Bonners and the Sooners there, that game. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I watched both the games yesterday. Two good games.
Yeah, it was. No, I'm talking about the
Talking about the what? I can't hear you. You're cutting in and out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Oh, okay. The Super Bowl with Auburn and Oklahoma.
Oh, the Sugar Bowl. I got you. All right. You want to talk about the Sugar Bowl?
I was just watching that game, and I just watched how the Bonners played there.
and they really embarrassed the SEC. And I really think that Georgia could have competed in that game a lot better than Oklahoma, or a lot better than Auburn could have, or they did. And I feel like that Georgia should have had a chance to play them rather than Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we were a better team than Auburn because we beat them. Unfortunately, the way that stuff works with the Sugar Bowl is the highest seeded or the highest ranked SEC team that's not in the playoff gets that spot. So it went to Auburn. But yeah, Auburn looked terrible. Their offense just looked non-existent. And I don't understand what Gus Malzahn is doing over there. He's supposed to be some kind of offensive guru with his little read option zone thing that he's got going on over there with the running quarterbacks. But the guy, I mean, they played about 18 different quarterbacks this year. And then when you talk to Auburn fan now, they say, well, none of those quarterbacks are playing next year. We got a new guy coming in and he's going to be the guy. So you played 18 quarterbacks and none of them are good enough to be your returning starter for next year. I mean, I just don't understand what he's doing. But I can tell you this, if Gus Malzahn doesn't win 10 games this year and beat Alabama, I think he's fired.
Yeah, I would have to totally agree with that. I mean, he's pretty much underperformed every year. I mean, the first 2 years he was there, they took him to the national championship, and that was about it. And ever since they played Florida State in the national championship, it's just been downhill for the Barners there. But I was just watching that game, and I thought that was, out of all the SEC bowl games, in my opinion, I thought Auburn played the worst out of any of the SEC teams. I mean, they got destroyed. And I thought we would have, I mean, I know the way they do it, we couldn't have played in that game because we're not the highest seed and all that. But I thought that, I was just watching that game, I was like, man, I wish we could have got in there because I feel like we could have done a lot better job of playing Oklahoma than Auburn did.
I would agree with that. I mean, the thing about Auburn's offense is if they can't get that first down in a series, then they have nothing going for them because their whole offense is based on that hurry up thing. And what they do is they try to wear defenses out and limit substitutions and rotations and things like that. But when they're 3 and out, they become non-existent. As far as UGA against Oklahoma, could we have beat Oklahoma? Well, I don't know. We'll never know. We wouldn't have been favored. I can guarantee you that. But UGA, I think, could have done a better job of keeping Oklahoma off the field. I mean, we could have got some first downs and moved the ball on Oklahoma a lot better than Auburn did.
Right. I don't know if we would have beat them either. I don't know if we would have beat them, but they would have. I would have been closer than Auburn. So I was just going to ask you if you thought that Auburn underplayed the most for any SEC team, because I thought they did. Well, maybe Vanderbilt too. Vanderbilt played pretty bad too.
Yeah, that would be my two choices. And I was surprised. Now, I wasn't surprised at the Auburn game. I picked Oklahoma in that game in a blowout. But Vanderbilt surprised me. I mean, they were playing pretty good football at the end of the year. I mean, they trounced Tennessee. They trounced Ole Miss. And then they go into that bowl game, and they just completely laid an egg against a mediocre NC State team. I didn't see that coming at all. That was disappointing for sure.
Just a question. Do you know when the last season that Vanderbilt beat Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee in one season?
Oh, God. Yeah, it had to be a long, long time ago. For one thing, they don't play Ole Miss every year. So I'd be willing to bet it might have never happened because they rarely beat Tennessee or Georgia, either one. Much less than you throw in the fact they only play Ole Miss a couple of times a decade. I doubt that's ever happened.
I was reading yesterday about Derek Mason possibly accepting another coaching job. It was somewhere, I think it was Cal. Cal had offered him a coaching job, and he's talking about leaving Vanderbilt. Have you heard anything about that?
If I was a coach at Vanderbilt and I got a job offer from any other Power 5 school, I would take it. It's just and I'm not even really trying to knock Vanderbilt. It's very hard to win consistently at Vanderbilt because They just, yeah, because of who they are, they don't really stress football there. The academic standards are high. The best coach that I can remember them having was James Franklin. And as soon as he won 9 or 10 games and beat Tennessee at Vanderbilt, he got out as quick as he could. He's at Penn State now, and he's got them, almost in the playoff, winning 9, 10, 11 games a year. And I think any other coach would do the same thing if they got a chance to get out of Vanderbilt to another Power 5. Now, would somebody leave Vanderbilt to go coach Central Florida? Probably not. But to go coach another Power 5 team, I think anybody would leave.
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna just ask you one thing, and then I'll get out of here and let somebody else get in here. But so since I go to school up in Virginia, I get to come home only 3 times a year. So over Thanksgiving, I normally always go to the Georgia Tech game. So my girlfriend got us tickets, and we went to the Georgia Tech game. Obviously, it was pretty disappointing, but I don't know if you heard about this, or I don't think they showed it on TV. But after the game, the Georgia Tech players all went in front of where the Georgia Tech band sits, and they all started ripping up the hedges and stuff. And they had to get the GBI and the state troopers, and all the nerds were down there, just hollering and everything. They had to get the GBI and the state troopers down there, and they eventually had to get the Georgia Tech coach, Paul Jones, to go down there and get the team away, take them to the locker room. Did they show any of that on TV or anything like that?
I don't think they showed it on TV, but yeah, I've heard plenty about it and have seen some photos and clips of it. And unfortunately, this isn't the first time those future scientists have done something like that. There's an old saying: when you win, act like you've done it before. Well, Tech hasn't done it before, really. I mean, yeah, they beat UJ before, but it's so rare for Georgia Tech to get a win over Georgia that they just completely lose their minds when they do it. But whatever, it's classless. Let them do it, whatever. If it makes them feel better or whatever, gives them some sort of moral victory that they're able to take a hedge from Georgia, big deal. They're getting their ass whipped next year in Atlanta, plain and simple.
For sure. And another funny thing, we were walking back to the car after the game. We were walking by the bell, and there were some nerds over there. They were drunk, ringing the bell after the game. And I just saw about 3 Georgia fans just go over there and just hammer them. Like, I think they killed one of the dudes. He was laying down face first, like blood was coming out of his head. And the GBI showed up, and so I just left.
Oh my God!
I mean, they just messed those guys up.
I mean, I don't condone violence or anything like that. But if you're at someone else's school and they go in, an opposing team goes and does something like that, then I don't want to say you deserve whatever you get, but you have to expect that somebody's going to do something. It's like if you go to Auburn and try to cut down one of those stupid oak trees, that's going to piss a lot of people off if you do that. And so if you do that and someone comes up and cold cocks you in the face, not too many people are going to feel sorry for you.
Right. Well, I just thought I would leave you with that. I was thinking good time to you. Keep playing like the videos and go Dogs, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks for the call. All right, we got time for just maybe one more call here if someone calls in. I really appreciate all these calls. Don't forget, I'll be doing this every Monday and Thursday at 3 o'clock. We'll see how that goes for a couple of weeks, and if I need to change or alternate some days around or try to flip some times around or something like that, we'll see about it. Hey, good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Tell me how you feel. All right, this is the part where you talk. Come on, you can do it. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Go ahead and tell me how you feel.
Pretty good.
What can we do for you today?
I'm a Carolina fan.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate the video you made earlier.
You didn't appreciate it, huh? You didn't appreciate it, right?
One of my friends also writes and says he's a big fan of you.
Well, he sounds like a smart individual. So tell me why I'm wrong about the video I made today. The video I made today, some writer, Josh Kendall from the state newspaper, writes an article. This is what South Carolina needs to do to win a national title. I'm of the opinion it doesn't matter what South Carolina does. They're not winning anything. Tell me why Uncle Lou is wrong. Now's your chance. Exactly. He hung up. That's going to be the last call today. All right, one more. This really is the last one. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Go ahead and tell me how you feel.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Lou. It's Brian A. there, by the way.
Hey, Brian, what's up, buddy?
And how do I feel? I feel freaking fantastic, man.
That's great news.
Tennessee, I've been listening to the show there, and the one Tennessee fan that called in there earlier, he just had me in stitches. How he didn't even know anything about his own team, but yeah, I feel fantastic because Tennessee is still nothing like they always are. Like they're not doing anything next year. They're not going to do anything the year beyond that. They're not going to do anything as long as they have Butch Jones. Because Butch Jones, as you said yourself, he is a chart buster, basically.
That's it.
He read charts.
Yeah, that's it.
He cannot coach ball.
No.
He does not know how to pick his staff, his plays. He can do nothing. Somebody can give him a chart and tell him, hey, here's a chart that's try this. That's all he's good for.
Yeah, and the chart lets him down more times than not too, because I don't know what kind of chart says, okay, we scored more points than we've ever scored in school history. Let's get rid of the offensive coordinator. I don't understand.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me there. And I mean, so let's see. The offensive coordinator was the plus versus your defensive coordinator because he gave most points to your program. That got me absolutely no sense whatsoever. I mean, that would be like my goal if we had kept our defensive coordinator there, which would have been a huge mistake, which we should have got rid of him a couple of years back.
Right.
But that's, you know, just Butch Jones, he's not a coach. He reminds me a lot. Orgeron, in my opinion, is not a head coach either.
Yeah. Yeah, he's running LSU now. But let me ask you a question while I have an Ole Miss fan on the line. Now, I couldn't help but notice when I was looking at the recruiting rankings this morning that Ole Miss is not in the top 3. In fact, they're not in the top 10. I don't even think they're in the top 20. Did Laramie Tunsil's admission in last year's draft that y'all pay players scare Hugh Freeze and the administration away from paying players, and that's why your recruiting class is so terrible this year?
Oh, favor play. I knew that was coming. No, I think what's happened on our recruiting this year is a lot of it that is to do with the whole Tunsil deal and the NCAA investigation.
Yeah, that has to be hurting.
There's so many rumors out there and hearsay that really false information. But there's so much of it out there that these recruits don't know what is the truth and what's truth. So that's scared a lot of away from even good year about 3 years ago, or 2 years back, where we ended up with, I think, was the number one defense stat-wise and whatnot in the SEC. Well, Dave Womack, in my opinion, had nothing to do with that. It was those players from that year were just that special. And if you look at every year since then, next 2 years, this year and the year before, 2014, what has Womack's defense done? Nothing. They gave up all kind of yards, whether it was rushing yards, passing yards, whatever. They were basically out there, didn't know what they were doing. And that's because Womack doesn't understand defense. And I've said that all along. And so with our defensive problems and the losses that we had, I think that's what has scared a lot of the recruits away from Ole Miss. And I don't blame them.
Well, one thing I know, you got you a good quarterback for the next 2 or 3 years at least, and you're always going to have about 3 wide receivers that are 6'5" or taller. So I don't expect your offense to drop off the map or anything like that. But I agree. I think it is hurting your recruiting, some of this chatter that's going around. And things like that. Of course, your defense looked pretty good during the UGA game, but there's no sense in getting into that today. That would just be brutal.
Well, Ole Miss's biggest problem has always been, and it happens to a lot of teams, not just Ole Miss. It's happened to a lot of good teams where they'll be really good on offense or really good on defense, but they can never get the two packages together in a single season, and that's hard to do. But yeah, I think you're right. Our offense, I don't see us dropping off much. We may drop off a little bit. I mean, we're kind of we've got some really good receivers, and I think like AJ Brown and whatnot. I think he's going to get better next season. Shea, he was shaky, but he didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare and whatnot. I think he'll get better and he'll get settled down and he'll perform a lot better. And we got some others behind him as well. But so the offense is good. The defense is the question. We have got to fix our secondary and our defensive line, but the secondary has just been horrendous, man. And I think a lot of that was due to Womack's defensive schemes being just totally off the board. I mean, it wasn't even right. When he should have been calling 4-3s and 4-4s or nickel Ds, he was playing these dime-style zone defenses, and that just doesn't work. You got to know when you need to get in a nickel or when you need to be in a 4-4, or when you see they're running the ball on you, they're running the ball, get in a 4-3. I mean, but that takes a defensive coordinator that understands defense.
Yeah, well, Ole Miss isn't the only team that struggles with the having the offense and the defense both be elite at the same time. I mean, you look at Florida right now. They have an NFL defense, but they can't move the ball. Georgia went through a few years where we were scoring 45, 40 points a game. The last few years, Mike Bobo was there, but we couldn't stop a nosebleed on defense. Even this year, I mean, Ole Miss ran all over us, but we had a top 15 defense nationally this year. Shut Auburn down. I mean, we played good defense this year, but we just couldn't do enough offensively to win the close games. So that's a problem that I think a lot of your teams are struggling with outside of your Alabamas and Ohio States and Florida States and things like that. But, yeah. So, but anyway, let me get out of here. I appreciate the call, though, Brian. We'll talk again.
Yeah, man, no problem.
All right.
Have a good one.
Take it easy. All right. Well, I'm not going to take any more calls, even though the phone is going to continuously ring for the next hour or two, because I know how you people are. But anyway, I really appreciate y'all calling in and letting me know how you feel. Remember that your feelings are important to me. Your feelings matter. Don't ever let anybody tell you that they don't. And Uncle Lou is here for you. So we'll do it again Thursday afternoon at 3. Thanks everybody for calling in, and thanks everybody for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good morning.